The day I took my daughter for her checkup. At some point a brand new piano had appeared in the hospital lobby. My husband Ethan suddenly felt inspired and went over to play a piece with practiced ease. I was surprised and recorded a video, posting it on my social account. I've known you for 8 years and never knew this rough guy of yours could play the piano. How many more surprises do you have that I don't know about? When I opened my phone again, the video had already gained considerable traction. One highly liked comment pierced my eyes. He's playing the Inuyasha theme, crossing time's longing, he's longing for his lover. Clearly this person isn't you. My hand holding the phone froze. The likes on that comment were still climbing as the video gained exposure. The replies below were equally loaded with meaning. I steadied my slightly ragged breath and couldn't help sliding my finger further down. For all these years you didn't know he could play piano. First, that means he never played it in front of you. Second, if he hadn't played for years yet is still so skilled, it means he's played it many times in his head. Girl, isn't it possible that he's not a rough, uncultured guy at all, only plays that role in front of you, so who has he been gentle for? Think about it, savor it. It's fine, sis. The fact he can marry you means you're the one who fits him best. The comments section perfectly illustrates what it means when one is in trouble and everyone makes it worse. The author is going to be so exasperated now. I'll bet $1 the author's household is going to be in chaos today. I stared at the screen, lost in thought. The melody lingered in my ears. At this moment Ethan was playing hide-and-seek with his daughter Tiffany. Tiffany, my little cutie, are you hiding well? The big bad wolf is coming to find you. Tiffany pouted her little bottom, hiding her face behind the curtain, speaking in a babyish voice, I'm hiding, Daddy, come find me. The next second, father and daughter were in stitches. I pretended to ask casually, honey, in all the years I've known you, I've never heard you mention you can play the piano. Did you learn when you were a child? Ethan's smile stiffened, his eyes instinctively avoiding meeting mine. Daddy, it's your turn, you hide now. Tiffany urged Ethan to hide. Ethan seemed to take a beat to think, then scooped his daughter up. All right, the game's over for today. You need to wash your hands and eat now. Then, naturally to me he said, it's not like I formally learned it. In middle school a desk mate played piano and casually taught me a bit. Purely practical skills, nothing worth making a fuss about. I watched his expression closely as he spoke. Aside from the initial flicker of panic, the rest was calmness. What he said was probably true. But somehow, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something he hadn't told me. I see. I teased him with a smile. Middle school, huh? It's been so long, not bad that your hands haven't gone rusty. He scratched his head sheepishly. Because that's the only song I can play. I was younger then and had a better memory, it stuck with me and became muscle memory. I let down my cautious probing. Could it really be that I was overthinking it, and the netizens were the ones making a fuss? I hid the video so only I could see it and didn't open it again. In the brief time it took to say that, the commenters had already conjured up a whole love story between Ethan and his first crush. After lunch, Ethan had to go to the office to handle some things, and I took Tiffany down for a nap. I knew he was busy with work, so without a word I packed his laptop bag and tucked a bottle of milk inside. Don't overdo it, come back early. He nodded in response, cupped my face and kissed me hard. Tiffany, watching from the side, demanded her turn to be kissed by Daddy. Up to that point, I still felt we were the happiest little family in the world. 20 minutes later, Tiffany was fast asleep beside me, but I, unusually, kept turning and tossing, unable to fall asleep. In the end I couldn't hold back. I opened the private works, found a video, and scrolled into the comments again. I read each one carefully, line by line. At that moment, my inbox received 2 private messages from different accounts. The first had an avatar of an adorable kitten. Sis, where did your video go? I'm a piano teacher and wanted to ask, did your husband stop playing halfway because it was supposed to be the girl's turn to play? No other meaning, just thought I'd give you a heads up. The second message came from a male account. First, as a man I understand men best. Second, I suggest you start digging around among his buddies, maybe you'll uncover something you don't know. I was still deciding whether to reply when Ethan sent a message. Honey, our department is having a dinner tonight and family members are allowed. Do you want to come with me? Actually, I really wanted to be part of his circle, but opportunities like that were very, very rare. He had always made excuses not to bring me before, saying what's the point of eating with a bunch of old men. This was the first time. I replied, it's my first time meeting your colleagues, what should I wear? There's nothing suitable in my wardrobe. Ethan replied quickly, go to the mall and see if anything catches your eye, or you could try a pleated skirt. Ethan was a complete science and engineering type. He would never spend more than a minute thinking about a girl's outfit, let alone be able to name all the different kinds of skirts. And I've never been fond of skirts, the times I've worn one can be counted on one hand. Since having a daughter, I haven't worn one for years. Every time I go shopping for clothes and ask him which one looks better, his answer is always the same, they're all about the same, they all look nice. I always complain that he's dismissive and doesn't look properly. The tens of thousands of comments from netizens washed over me like a tide, drowning my breath. At that moment his single word, pleated skirt, made me truly anxious. Someone who never cared about clothes would not suddenly name a skirt. Seeing that I hadn't replied for a long time, Ethan sent another message, what's wrong, wifey? Why aren't you answering me? I tapped out a quick reply, Tiffany just rolled over, I soothed her for a bit. How did you suddenly get enlightened today? You even know about girls' pleated skirts? But I've never bought one, I don't know how to style it. Ethan sent a goofy smiling emoji, didn't you always say I don't know how to appreciate you? So I followed several fashion bloggers on my phone, and I'm learning from them too. Really? I thought it was one of your female colleagues at the company wearing it. Ethan sent a Zaya Hongsha link about styling pleated skirts, come on, our company is famously like a monastery, I'm afraid the only woman on the whole floor is the cleaning aunt. Ha ha ha. Then he transferred me $2,000, wait until Tiffany wakes up and drop her off at my mom's. Go buy new clothes yourself, I'll pick you up at the mall when I'm done. I've already forgotten how I replied, I just followed his instructions in order like a preset program, carrying out what he said methodically. Until I had already tried on a pleated skirt and stood there captivated by the unfamiliar style in the mirror. The saleswoman beside me kept praising how well the dress suited me, but I was so absent-minded I couldn't take any of it in. My mind was full of thoughts about who the girl was that taught him piano and wore pleated skirts. At 6:30 in the afternoon, I sat in the mall cafe waiting for Ethan. When he came in, he first scanned the shop, and when his eyes landed on me they noticeably brightened. Honey, you look so beautiful in that dress, it makes me not even want to take you to the dinner, I don't want to show my pretty wife to them. I forced a smile. Nonsense, maybe someone else's wife is prettier. Ethan naturally picked up my bag, took my hand, and led me out, proud as a peacock, impossible, no one is prettier than my wife. The whole meal was relaxed and harmonious. After a few rounds of drinks, the new colleague sitting next to Ethan, fresh out of school, probably had a bit too much and vomited on Ethan. He looked a little helpless and got up to go to the bathroom to deal with it. I noticed there was another phone tucked under his, unfamiliar, never brought home before. On a whim I unlocked it and opened it, thankfully the passcode was the same. There weren't many apps on the phone, and they were all work accounts, the posts on Instagram were all work-related too. I checked back and forth several times, carefully, and found nothing. Not a single trace of personal life. I breathed out and, without a ripple, put it back. After a while, Ethan came back from the bathroom, a large patch of dampness on his clothes. He smiled and asked if I had eaten enough, saying we could order more when we got home if I hadn't. I shook my head, no, I'm full. He affectionately ran his hand through my hair, prompting teasing from the friends at the table, oh my, I say, how old is this kid already and still so clingy? The one speaking was Mike, Ethan's lifelong buddy, they joined this company together after graduation. Ethan laughed and gave him a playful punch. Get lost, get lost. Before the meal ended, Mike suggested everyone take a group photo as a keepsake. After they took it, he sent it to everyone. On the way home, Ethan opened the photo and zoomed in until it showed only the two of them. He looked down at the screen, a faint smile tugging at his mouth. "We look really good in this." I stared into his eyes. "What do you mean, good?" He didn't lift his head, his gaze drifting downward. "The dress is pretty. Your husband does have good taste, this dress suits you well. You should wear it more often." I snapped back a little in defiance. "Fine, then you take a screenshot and post it yourself." He hesitated, closing his phone screen. "You know me, I never post. Tiffany's been around so long and I've never posted once." I shrugged and said nothing. Late at night, he showered and fell asleep as soon as his head hit the pillow, but I lay awake with my eyes open. I turned on my phone and scrolled aimlessly. It's no wonder people say everyone is exposed to big data these days with no privacy. I actually came across the group photo taken at tonight's dinner. The photo was posted by Mike. I clicked into the comment section one by one. They were all friends who had eaten together today. Since I had nothing better to do, I started browsing Mike's profile videos. Unexpectedly, I did find a clue. There's a saying that's true: never underestimate a woman who wants to check on someone. At moments like this, their intelligence rivals Sherlock Holmes. Mike's profile had over 40 videos in total, most of them showcasing his fishing trophies. Occasionally there were one or two clips about his wife and kids. His follower and following counts were small, they were probably all people he knew. I also found Ethan's account in my following list. His profile picture was a side shot of him driving that I had taken. Scrolling to the end, I found an account with no avatar. The ID was YT. My sixth sense told me this account held what I wanted to see. On impulse I clicked it open. The profile was all blank, no avatar, no background image, no bio, only one video. It was posted on January 1st, 2017, New Year's Day. I thought back, that was the day Ethan and I made our relationship official. We rang in the new year together in the square. I don't know when he filmed the video of me releasing the balloon. There was no caption. Under the video Mike left a comment: "Tina doesn't eat cilantro, kind of looks like you." Tina doesn't eat cilantro replied, "Don't talk nonsense." I had a bad feeling. Why would Mike say I look like this girl? And what does YT mean? That account never posted another video and only followed the two of them. I dug deeper and clicked into Tina doesn't eat cilantro. The profile picture was a candid photo of a girl in a pleated skirt playing the piano. The homepage background should be made up of the medals and awards she's won. There are many videos posted, most of them of her playing the piano. It's not hard to see that she's probably a teacher at a piano training studio. In the pinned video, I saw Ethan's comment: "Teacher Tina, when I have kids someday, I'll definitely bring them to you to learn piano." Teacher Tina replied, "Sure. And I'll give you a 50% discount then." So that's it. So she was the desk mate who taught Ethan piano? So he made me wear a pleated skirt because she likes wearing them? I remember the day after our daughter was born, when we were choosing a name, Ethan said, "Let's call her Tiffany, as sweet as honey." When Tiffany turned 1, Ethan said again, "Our daughter's fingers are long and slender, you can tell she's meant to play the piano." So that's it. It turns out life had been dropping hints in the details all along. I had simply ignored them. Ethan never brought up the posts he was introduced to, nor did he share the life he led before I met him. I, by contrast, was the opposite. He even knew the names of my elementary school classmates and what they had done. He always said he was a techie, that studying and work took up his whole life, that he was boring and had nothing much to say. So until now his good friend Mike of more than 20 years. I always thought it was fine. An oversharer naturally pairs with someone who doesn't like to share. They balance each other out. That's how spouses should be. Later we naturally registered our marriage, got pregnant, and had a daughter. The only thing we didn't do was hold a banquet. I still feel a little regret about that. What girl doesn't want to wear a beautiful wedding dress? He would always rationally weigh the pros and cons. Holding a banquet is too tacky, and you'd have to get up at 3 or 4 to have your makeup done, be busy all day, with all kinds of tedious rituals and procedures. If we had the time and money for a wedding feast, wouldn't it be more cost-effective to just travel? How ridiculous, I actually agreed at the time. It was just on an ordinary, impossibly ordinary day, we registered the marriage and went away for a few days. Which is why later, so many people were surprised when they saw us again, we were already married. Thinking back now, Ethan probably didn't want her to see him. I shut my phone, took a deep breath, and buried my face in the pillow. I really wanted to cry my heart out, but I kept feeling my reasons weren't valid enough. After all, since I hadn't caught him in the act, it could always be dismissed as my guess. In the morning I nudged Ethan. "Wake up, we need to go pick our daughter up." I deliberately avoided saying Tiffany's name. He blinked groggily and opened his eyes. "What time is it?" "Almost 9. He stretched lazily and threw back the covers. "Princess Tiffany, your old servant is coming to fetch you now." At any other time I'd tease him for being a doting father, but right now his way of saying it struck me as oddly awkward. After a quick wash, on the way to my mother-in-law's house, I said casually, "By the way, I want my daughter to learn some hobbies or special skills, to cultivate her poise and such. What do you think?" Ethan nodded at once. "Sounds good. Things like dance, calligraphy, painting, tennis, swimming, or Go are all excellent choices." He blurted out every specialty class in one go, except for piano. Watching him try to cover it up was a little amusing. "I want her to learn an instrument, but we should have her try each one first to see what she likes." "Ethan, fine, you handle it however you want. I have no objections." After picking up our daughter, Ethan said he had to go to the office for a bit. "How about I drop you and Tiffany off at home first, then head to the company?" I declined. "No need, I'll take our daughter around for a while. You go handle your work." Watching the car's taillights recede until they vanished around the corner, I hailed a taxi driver to Jean Duo Piano Studio on Huayang Road. Outside the studio, a young receptionist was already waiting at the door. With a sharp eye she opened it for us. "Are you Ms. Renee?" I nodded and smiled. "Yes, I have a trial piano lesson scheduled with Teacher Tina." "All right, Teacher Tina will be free in 10 minutes. Please have a seat and help yourself to some water." The receptionist girl smiled sweetly. "You must be little Tiffany, right? You're so adorable." My daughter, with a syrupy tone, replied, "Thank you, pretty sister, for the compliment." The receptionist girl was so amused by my daughter she couldn't stop grinning and took her to play in the children's area. I took the chance to look around and saw the hallway lined with photos of competition winners. When I saw one of the pictures, I stopped. I recognized her at a glance. Hair pinned up, wearing an evening gown, elegantly playing the piano. The receptionist girl introduced, "Ms. Renee, this is the Tina teacher you asked for. She's the best and most praised teacher in our institute, highly regarded by both parents and students. Every student she teaches turns out outstanding." I stared without blinking. "Is that so?" As they spoke, a classroom door opened and 2 adorable little children said in unison, "Thank you, Teacher Tina." "Goodbye, teacher." The girl at the front desk waved. "Teacher Tina, the parent who scheduled the trial lesson, is here." Tina walked over to me and greeted me warmly. "Hello, parent. I'm Tina. Our child?" I called my daughter over. "Tiffany, come over here." The moment Tina saw my daughter, the smile vanished from her face. I knew exactly why. My daughter looked exactly like Ethan. Since they were little, anyone who'd seen them both would sigh. Even if every child in the hospital got switched, your daughter wouldn't have been. Father and daughter practically share the same face. I tilted my head, feigning puzzlement. "Teacher Tina, what's wrong?" Tina snapped back to herself. "Oh, it's nothing. I mistook you for someone else." "It's nothing." I smiled and said nothing. At that moment the receptionist girl handed Tina the registration form I had filled out. Her pupils suddenly constricted, her fingers clenched so tight they went white. The receptionist girl quietly nudged her with an elbow. "Tina, what are you daydreaming about? Hurry and take the child in." Only then did Tina come to, mechanically leading her daughter into the classroom. The classroom door was completely transparent, so parents outside could easily observe the children during class. I noticed that during the lesson she seemed extremely unnatural, her back rigidly taut. Several times she met my gaze as if guilty, then quickly looked away. Before long, the half-hour trial lesson was over. As a teacher for the institution, keeping me as a client was part of her job. I exchanged a few words with her first. "Teacher Tina, what do you think of my daughter? Is she suited to learn the piano?" She began with polite small talk. "Tiffany is especially nice, her fingers are long and well suited to the piano, and she's very interested." I expressed surprise. "Really?" "My husband says the same thing, he's always wanted to find a good teacher to start her off." She smiled, a little stiffly. "Your husband says that too. Is it your husband who sent you to me to take lessons?" "Yes, but he's busy with work. Our daughter's matters have always been left to me. He says he trusts me unconditionally and supports whatever arrangements I make." Tina said softly, "Your husband is really nice. Men are busy with their careers, so I'm the one who has to handle the kids' education." "Hey, Teacher Tina, are you married?" Tina was momentarily taken aback. "Oh, not yet." I feigned surprise. "What? Impossible, someone as excellent as you can't possibly have no one pursuing you." Tina gave an awkward smile. "Haven't met the right person." I nodded in understanding, stood up, and took the initiative to end the conversation. "All right then, I'll pay for 10 lessons now, and next class I'll have her father come along to take a look." The receptionist girl pulled out the payment QR code, but Tina held her back. Ms. Renee, would you like to think it over? It's okay to look around at a few other places. No need to look further. I think you'd be a good teacher for her." She glanced at me in a fluster and stammered, "Ms. Renee, I'm sorry. I just remembered that my upcoming classes are all fully scheduled, I might not be able to take your daughter. How about I recommend teachers from other institutions? They're all excellent." From the receptionist girl's puzzled look, I could tell she was definitely lying. Perhaps she couldn't face the three of us confronting her right there. I replied regretfully, "Oh, I see. Never mind, I'll go back and think it over." She exhaled in relief and stood there, dazed, lost in thought. Even when we were leaving and Tiffany greeted her, she didn't hear it. She got that flustered just from meeting me once. Aren't she and Ethan usually quite happy chatting on their phones? Ethan came home from work, unusually sullen. I pretended not to notice and kept busy in the kitchen. When I heard the door close, I popped my head out. "Honey, you're back. Go wash your hands and get ready for dinner." He put down his laptop bag, ignored his daughter's plea to be picked up, and walked straight up behind me. In a less than pleasant tone he asked, "Where did you go today?" I answered casually, "Nowhere special." "Oh right, I took our daughter to try a lesson at a piano studio. The piano teacher's name is Tina." He studied my expression closely. "How did you find her? Why did you go to see her?" I didn't stop my hands from serving the dishes. "What do you mean why? How else would I find her? I found her on a local group buy site, she was ranked first, so I bought a trial lesson coupon." A flicker of distrust passed through his eyes. "Really? It's truly a coincidence, not because of something else?" I frowned. "If you don't believe me, look at my phone's purchase history. What's gotten into you today? I just took our daughter to have a look, didn't I? Why come back and interrogate me in that tone?" Seeing how righteous I looked, he felt reassured instead. Ethan immediately changed his expression and, from behind, wrapped his arms around me. "I'm sorry, I was exhausted at work today." "How did it go? Did Tiffany like it? Did you pay them? Let's keep looking, maybe the small agency isn't very professional." I saw through it but didn't call him out. "No, I want to compare a few more places." He exhaled loudly, his whole body relaxing. "That's good, my queen. What's for dinner today?" "I'm starving." I coughed lightly and pushed him away with some force. "Go wash your hands." Late at night, Ethan and our daughter breathed evenly. I crept to the bathroom with his phone, unlocked it, opened TikTok and switched accounts. Sure enough, there was a secondary account. I found the chat window with Tina on his secondary account. I skimmed through some of their messages from yesterday. There was a lot of conversation. I couldn't be bothered to read it all. Using the SIM I got yesterday, I registered my own secondary account. I set the profile picture exactly the same as Tina's, copied her bio, and even duplicated every video she had posted. Then I put the real Tina on the block list. This was my final test. Back in bed, my phone screen showed a to-do item: tomorrow is my mom's birthday banquet. I closed my eyes with relief. Whether this family stays whole will have to wait until tomorrow. At 8:30 in the morning, just before Ethan left, I made a point of reminding him to remember to take my mom to celebrate at Quanfula restaurant near his company at noon. He agreed, saying he would remember. Then I packed up and, with my daughter, headed to my mom's house. At 10 in the morning I sent Ethan a message from the account I'd disguised as Tina. What are you doing? I miss you so much today. About 10 minutes later the other side showed it had been read. I'm at work. I hadn't even managed to catch my breath. The next second Ethan's message came through again. I miss you too. Baby. My heart completely died. In truth, my account disguise was full of holes. Anyone watching closely could spot the flaws. He hadn't noticed. That meant they'd been talking like this often before. Family arrived at the private room one after another. Mom, dressed in a brand new cheapao, was radiant as she chatted with relatives and friends, receiving the younger generation's blessings. My dad, holding Tiffany, asked me, Ethan, why hasn't he arrived yet? I pulled out my phone and texted, honey, everyone's here. How long until you get here? Ethan, I'm coming right away, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Soon after, Ethan pushed open the private room door, a bouquet of fresh flowers in his hands and a broad smile as he presented them to my mother. Mom, happy birthday. My mother's eyes narrowed into slits from smiling, and she went on and on about how wonderful her son-in-law was. Everyone chimed in with praise. Before the dishes even started coming, I took Tiffany to the restroom to wash her hair. From the small phone I sent Ethan a message, can you come keep me company for lunch? I'm in a bad mood today, I want to see you. I'm waiting for you at the studio. Ethan read it but didn't reply. When I returned to the private room, he looked distraught. He kept turning his phone screen on and off. Even when the elders spoke to him, he was absent-minded. I asked with concern, what's wrong? Ethan forced a smile, there's something going on at the company. My boss wants me to get back and handle it right away. I spoke slowly, is it that important? My mother's cake hasn't even been cut yet, do you really have to leave now? He looked guilty, avoiding my eyes. Yes, it's important. I have to go now. My heart sank bit by bit as I focused on serving Tiffany. Then you should go, after all that's more important. I tightened my tone, but unfortunately he didn't catch my meaning. Ethan stood up apologetically and said, Mom, Dad, elders, I'm sorry, I have an urgent matter at work and must leave. You all eat and drink well, don't wait for me. Silence fell immediately. My parents were slightly displeased. The relatives smoothed things over, saying they understood. Young people are really in the years to strive. They praised my parents for their good fortune to have such a hard-working, ambitious son-in-law. My parents brushed off the little cloud that had just passed, but inside I felt like I was swallowing needles. After returning home from the meal, I called Ethan. Ethan, let's get a divorce. Split the assets equally. Give me the house and the daughter. Ethan was silent on the other end for a long time. What did you say? I hung up immediately. He called more than a dozen times and I refused them all. Before long, Ethan rushed back home looking pale. He demanded loudly, what nonsense were you talking on the phone just now? Are you upset just because I left your mother's birthday dinner early today? Wanting a divorce over that, it's ridiculous to even say it. Did someone go and stir up trouble in front of you after I left? Can't you think for yourself a little instead of believing whatever people tell you? I watched him, frantic and angry, and found it a little ridiculous. you really went to take care of work at noon? Is there something you're hiding from me? It's not too late to tell me now, I'm giving you a chance. Ethan stiffened, the aggressive air he had carried evaporated in an instant. His lips trembled slightly as he opened and closed his mouth, unable to get a word out. I snorted coldly. Don't bother thinking, you can't come up with a perfect excuse, because the message asking you to meet at noon was sent by me. He suddenly understood, no wonder, when I arrived she was so surprised. Baby, listen to me, I didn't mean to hide it from you. It was just that in that situation I couldn't explain things to you, so I had to come up with an excuse and plan to tell you when there was a chance. There really was nothing between her and me, believe me. We're just old classmates. Then you told me when there was a chance? I cut him off. Don't delude yourself, Ethan. We're done. I didn't cheat. At most you can say she and I still have contact, you can't say I actually had an affair. But an emotional affair is more frightening than a physical one. Ethan held my hand tightly. Please, honey, I won't contact her anymore, okay? I really can't live without you and Tiffany. Hearing him mention our daughter made me furious. I'm just curious, if you two are so inseparable, why didn't you get married back then? Why all the secrecy? Ethan wept, clutching his hair, because her parents did drugs and dealt drugs, racking up a pile of debts and both ending up in prison. My parents disapproved of us being together. My heart was like a knife, so you chose me? Because my family is a good match for yours? So I became a shield for you too, a cover-up? So you wasted nearly 10 years of my youth? Ethan, you really are calculating. Ethan froze as if struck by lightning. Maybe he had never considered any of this. Seeing him silent, I knew I'd hit the mark again. I felt as if millions of needles had been driven into my body at once, a piercing, soul-deep pain. Pack your things and leave my home and my daughters. You were at fault first, apologizing to the two of us and leaving the house to us isn't too much to ask. Tomorrow morning, after I take Tiffany to my mom's, we'll meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau. As for your parents, you handle them yourself. If I go I'm afraid I won't be able to control my emotions and it will get ugly. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, his voice hoarse. I really never did anything to betray you, why can't you believe me for once? I deleted all her contact information right in front of you, isn't that enough? He collapsed to his knees before me with a thud, raising his right hand over his head to swear, if I ever contact her again, may I be struck by thunder and meet a gruesome end. I kept my face expressionless, looking down at him. I'll say it one last time. Take your things and leave. Ethan clung to my leg, begging desperately, I won't leave, please don't drive me away. I was wrong, I'll change. Helpless, I could only take out my phone and call my in-laws. I'm filing for a divorce from your son. Please come quickly and take him away. If you want to make a scene, then bring everyone in to face it together. Half an hour later, there was a knock at the front door. Standing outside were not only my in-laws, but my parents as well. Perfect timing. Ethan and I are getting a divorce. Just letting you all know. The four elders looked at one another. In all the years Ethan and I had been together we'd never once raised our voices, we'd never had a fight in front of them. How could a divorce suddenly be happening? Father-in-law was the first to speak. Renee, what happened between you two? Did Ethan do something to upset you? Tell your old man and I'll set things right for you. I sneered, what happened? You should ask your precious little son. Ethan was still kneeling on the floor, head down, choking back sobs. My mother-in-law stamped her foot anxiously. Ethan, say something, what on earth is going on? You've been married for years, your daughter is already so grown up, don't talk about divorce so easily. Ethan remained silent, and looking at him made my anger flare for no reason. I closed my eyes, unwilling to face it. My parents steadied me on either side. Renee, you look awful. Sit down, and we'll talk. I said softly, Ethan cheated. I'm divorcing him, and our daughter will live with me. The moment I spoke, everyone present fell silent. Chi-Chi looked at Ethan, who didn't dare raise his head. My in-laws' faces flushed red, and my parents wore expressions of disbelief. They had imagined countless possibilities, but never that he would cheat. My mother-in-law rushed forward to confront Ethan. "Son, is what Renee says true? You cheated? How could you do something so utterly despicable? Who is that woman? I'll tear her mouth to pieces." Ethan hurriedly protested, "I didn't, Mom, I didn't cheat. It's all a misunderstanding. I just chatted with her a bit more than usual, met her a few times, nothing happened. No matter how I explain, she won't believe me." I cut in abruptly. "Tina, does that name ring a bell?" My mother-in-law froze. "Tina? Oh, I'm very familiar with that name." The next second she slapped Ethan hard. "Ethan! Didn't I tell you long ago not to have anything to do with her? How is it that after all these years you still haven't cut it off?" Mother-in-law's face was full of grief and fury as she struck him again and again. "Why didn't you listen to me? Her family is a den of wolves and tigers, why did you have to get involved?" Ethan didn't dodge either, he closed his eyes and let her hit him. "Grandpa couldn't stand it. Renee, we only recognize you as our daughter-in-law. No matter how that woman acts, she will never threaten your position. It's our fault we didn't discipline our son properly. Don't worry, I'll make sure to teach him well. Even if it's for Tiffany, you should live properly." I said coolly, "If you're going to teach him, do it at home, don't put on a show in front of me. I'm absolutely getting a divorce from this marriage. Also, she will no longer be called Tiffany, I will change her name." My mother gripped my hand tightly. Though she didn't say a word, I knew she was on my side. I nodded and smiled at her to show I was all right. My in-laws looked anxiously toward my parents. "Father and mother-in-law, won't you say something? You can't just stand by and watch two children drift apart like this." My father was silent. After he finished a cigarette with a few clicks, he said, "My daughter is grown and has her own mind. As her father, I unconditionally support her." Ethan was already streaming tears. "Father-in-law, mother-in-law, please say a good word for me. I really don't want to divorce Renee." My in-laws felt deeply hurt seeing their son so humiliated. In a petulant tone they said, "After all, our son didn't actually have an affair, he just got a little close to that woman. Isn't this blowing things out of proportion? Men are, after all, excusable." My parents erupted immediately, "What you say is ridiculous. Do you really think our daughter would have to catch them in bed for it to count as cheating? Your son showed those signs and our daughter caught them early, and you're still making excuses. What's this men are excusable business? I'm a man too, did I ever do something like that? You're a man as well, does that mean you secretly did the same behind your in-laws' backs, which is why you think it's normal?" My in-laws usually treated me very well. As expected, when nothing happens you don't notice anything, but once something does, you naturally take your son's side. This time I was truly angry. "Mother-in-law, father-in-law, you must have some backbone. Rather than stay here and be looked down on, it's better to leave cleanly now, so that if we meet in the future it won't be so ugly." Their faces flushed red, they had nothing to say. The room fell quiet, and their footsteps faded away. I lay on the bed, holding my sleeping daughter and crying without meaning to, the pillow soaked in a large patch of tears. The day before we were a happy family of 3, in the blink of an eye everything was torn apart. I wondered if I would regret this decision later, and whether, when my daughter grew up, she would ask me for her father. But I couldn't bother with all that anymore, more than anything, I didn't want to feel wronged. Even if I end up raising our daughter alone, I can still give her a good, happy life. When I saw Ethan again, we had already come out of the civil affairs office. Overnight he seemed to have aged a lot, stubbly beard, disheveled hair, and dark eye bags that had slipped down to the corners of his mouth. He was completely wilted. "Renee, there's still a month's cooling off period. Could you please think this over a little more? This month can be my chance to show you. I'll make it up to you with my actions and prove to you that I'm absolutely devoted." I spared him and left right away. He reached out to stop me. Please, will you promise me? I laughed at him in anger and cut him off. Who do you think you are, that I should promise you? If you have time like that, go find your Tina. Anyway, your parents already know, give it a shot, maybe you really can be together. Ethan sounded like a deflated balloon. When did you start noticing? Do you remember that day we took our daughter to the hospital for a checkup, and you casually played a piece on the hospital piano? It was from that moment. Thinking of the commenters online still sickened me. A man could be read through in a few seconds of video by everyone else, and I alone had been foolishly kept in the dark. He took a deep breath. I understand. I'm sorry, Renee. I didn't want to hear another word. I ignored him and walked away. After leaving Ethan, my life wasn't as lonely as I'd imagined. As my daughter grew, the space that belonged to me expanded. She went to school, I worked, and in our spare time we explored the beautiful country together. Only occasionally my daughter would ask me, "What about Daddy? Where did Daddy go?" I would only answer her calmly, "He's probably dead by now."